All right, surprise. Hello. Probably not used to this, but I've always wanted to showcase for you guys the process that I do to, cut around my thumbnails. I guess that's kind of looking a little funny there. I'll jump into the window and the program that I use, go over the process, and just a little fun behind the scenes preparation. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and we'll get right into it. Yes, that's looking good. All right, so my program of choice, I don't use a program right on my desktop. I just work right from the browser. The website is Pixlr X Photo Editor. Lots of wide variety, but this has so far been my favorite. Pretty stable, a lot of nice features, and pretty much I just choose whatever image I might want to trim around. You see I got a lot of different stuff, the previous ones that I work on, and it's nice because it saves it. You don't have to save it to the hard drive. You can just go back into the PNGs, whatever image you've done, and maybe reuse it, tweak it a little bit if you somehow mistakenly delete it. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but tonight, the active one for, well, I guess today, because it's passed over into midnight here. Yes, coming up next stream, it's going to feature Galta, and I'm choosing this art just because I have the biggest, best resolution. I tried to use the alternate game day promo art of Galta, but I couldn't find a big enough resolution that I liked, so this is the one we're sticking with. And I don't have that game day promo art in game, unfortunately. Hopefully one day I'm going to get it. It's going to come back into the store. Crossing my fingers. Yeah, so what I do with this and Pixlr in general, I'm going to try and remove all this background from Galta, leaving just the body. Then we're going to overlay text kind of underneath just to make it a little more appealing, interesting. And then I'm going to layer this original image so that I can kind of create some depth a little bit, possibly making some shadows on Galta, casting it against the mountainside right here. We'll see how that works, but at the very least I'm going to show you how I trim around things. Oh, what happened there? Okay, that was different. It just deleted. Odd. Huh. Well, I'll reopen the image. No trouble at all. Okay, there we go. All right, so just to know that I've gotten everything on the background, I add an actual background. If I didn't do that, then it would just remove it, and sometimes I miss it. I miss little pieces kind of right in there, and then when I want to overlay things or maybe make a shadow, it kind of makes it funny if there's a tiny little pixel hiding. Kind of messes up the image. It's got to be nice and crisp and clean right along whatever I'm cutting around. But we'll go back. That's not usually how I like to do things. The quickest and easiest method, I just click keep. So whatever I highlight, it keeps that, and then it just removes everything else that is left over that I haven't done. It's definitely the fastest way I've found, at least. Softness, I go to 0. I don't really need any hard edges, but say I increase the softness to 15, you can see it leaves a little pretty blurry edge. It can be nice depending on what effect you want to go on, but I really like to keep it a hard edge to start. It's pretty big that I'm going to be keeping. Pretty big image, so just to make it go a little bit faster, I'll use a pretty wide brush here. Get down to her arm. Oh, I missed a bit of the claw there. Don't want to do that. And now here I've got a couple options. We can see her claws are kind of in the dust. I'll just sort of generously go over that just in case, I want to tweak things there. I have enough room to play with. Enough was left over that I can dive right in there and get it done. And oh, I almost forgot part of her leg. That would not be good. She'd definitely fall over at that point. All right, bam, done. And I know for certain that everything around here is completely gone. There's no small, tiny pixels that it was trying to erase, anything like that. And then we just kind of work our way in, go a little bit tighter. I'll start right underneath here, but usually I like to kind of cut around all there. And I'll show you the background because I do like to go with softness just to make a nice edge. Sometimes a harsh edge can be desirable, but since I am going with softness, it has the potential to leave pixels behind. So I like the contrast of turning on a background. So if I leave a pixel, it really does show up against this whiteness here. And then of course when I'm going to save the image, I just turn off the background, keep it as a transparent PNG, and yeah, that works out pretty good. All right. Get back to, oh, we're not keeping. So got to switch over to remove there. And usually I like to go softness of 2%, just a touch. Yeah, hey, yes, bonus. Got the music you like, bonus stream. I figured I was going to be doing this anyways. I might not do it every night, but I thought, surprise, you know? Show you how it all goes down. Usually takes quite a bit of time, but so yeah, you can see with the softness of 2%, there's kind of transparent edge right around there. I do like that. If we went to a softness of 0, you can see how it's definitely not, it's missing those parts right along here. So certainly I like just a touch of softness. It adds something to it. Go back to 2%. Where is it? There we go. Definitely need a little bit smaller of a pixels. Sometimes when I get down to it and I go into the feathers here, I pretty much have to go down to deleting each pixel at once just to get the desired effect. Softness has no effect when it is a pixel or two that you're deleting, but get really in depth and it definitely shows. Chopping wood and Albion, good stuff. Oh, that's good. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully the music levels are good. It seemed like it might have been a touch loud tonight, possibly, but yeah, relaxing, chopping wood and Albion, and then you got relaxing music as well. Is that's a good time for sure. This might take a bit. It's definitely going to be easier than the charging Monstrosaur, I would say. That took me quite a long time, but it was definitely worth it for that effect. I think it turned out beautifully. Nah, I don't want to start on the feathers there. Let's go. Let's keep right around her legs here. That's going to be a little bit easier. Yeah, 11% is probably too much. 7 is one of my favorites. And then if you zoom out, the mouse is going to jump a lot more and it's going to be harder to control. So usually I zoom in as much as possible and then you have a ton more control that way. And it just usually go along. Trim it up quite nicely. It's looking pretty good so far. You pretty much just I cut in all around and then I go in later on with a bigger brush and clean up everything that was left over, but getting a nice clean edge around her foot here and her claws especially, that really helps. Stands out big time. Could potentially zoom in a little bit more to have some finer control, but this should do the trick. And you got to remember the thumbnails being viewed on a phone, this is likely good enough. Phone screen size, I mean, you're not going to notice super detail like that, but I like to be as good as possible. At least a very good result, but at some point you got to just call it good enough. It'll never be exactly perfect. And speaking of music again, I just noticed after the stream was finished, when I went back to this, it said, "Are you still watching?" A feature that YouTube has, and it pauses stuff. So I guess the music probably wasn't playing for about half the stream, I imagine. I'll have to keep an eye on that because I usually don't listen to it with my headphones. Figured I would, just showing you guys my process here. But yeah, if you ever hear the music cut out, just send a message in chat and I'll turn it back on. I guess I could go in a little bit more. Seeing these little white bits, I want to get as close to the claw as possible. Of course, I could go 0 softness, have a nice harsh edge right there, but if I missed a couple pixels, I usually cut it in a little bit just to have a menacing looking claw. Of course, overlaying the exact same art, I'm not going to notice it too much, but you would notice it slightly if you're putting something like text right underneath the claw. So just in case, I don't know yet where I'm going to put the text on her, but on the off chance it goes underneath there, I'll make it nice around here for sure. Focus a little bit more attention just because her foot right here is kind of in the center of the artwork. Okay, there we go. Oh, you like this, Heaven? Good stuff. I love practicing this. I took a little bit of graphic design in college, but I definitely like how in-depth it goes. I like to try and go the extra mile with the thumbnails, make them look good. Sometimes I reuse the images, of course, just to save time, especially if it takes a long time like I'm doing right here. Might use it for a night or two. But now getting in between the claws here, that takes a bit of zooming in. We'll probably have to go down to 2 pixels. We could probably get away with 3. 3 should do the trick. Yeah, that looks pretty good. But yeah, you never thought you'd probably be seeing zoomed in right between her 2 claws. I mean, we all know and love this art, but bam, getting right down in there. Pretty crazy. I don't have to go this extra mile, but I like it. It's definitely satisfying when I finish work like this. Nope, 16 too much. 7. Back to 7. That's good. Sometimes I don't go right around. I just kind of click. That does the trick too. Just depending how I feel. Oh yes, definitely. I do like showing the before and after for sure. I'd always meant to do this, showing you guys at some point. So I thought, yeah, tonight's the night. It definitely helps that I only do dinos. I can kind of reuse all this stuff. I don't have to look for completely different art. Like some people do different decks every single day. I think that can be kind of difficult. The drain, trying to come up with the art, how to compose it. But just doing dinos, I think saves time overall. Kind of know the general idea what I wanted. Oh, nope. That cut in a little bit too close. Could probably zoom in a little bit closer to have some more control again, but this should do the trick. Oh. And I could use the magic wand potentially, but that can leave other little bits that I have to erase anyways. We'll try the magic wand just in case. There's a lot of contrast here, so it might actually work pretty good, especially up to here because I have a break. Yeah, let's try it. So I've increased the tolerance too much. Oh no, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, so you can see because the black is so connected, it's basically the same blending into her foot. It kind of pulls it and deletes all of her. Unfortunately, we definitely don't want to do that. So if you click on something white, yeah, that's decent. Still pretty good. But again, you can see how it leaves little bits. Usually it's going to leave something. So I still like the game plan of just cutting in right up to the edge, and then again coming in with a bigger brush to clean it all up. Either way, it's probably roughly about the same amount, and you still have an edge to clean up anyways, even with the magic wand. Like I would want to get a little bit closer to her leg there, just to make it pop that much better when if I do put some text right behind her foot there. So yeah, I think it makes a cleaner edge with the brush here. You can see how I'm nicely against her foot there. Then it left some of the stone leaves, whatever it is right there. Just that faint little edge, unfortunately. But then if you increase the tolerance too much to try and get this bit, you run the risk of going right into the thing you don't want, like Galta right there. So we'll leave it like that. Go back to just cutting it in. It all depends. If I have all the elements, PNGs, depends how long I want to spend time on. A couple hours. It could take a couple hours. Oh, absolutely. I'm much better at them. Just studying what thumbnails work best. Absolutely. It seems to be having simple, clear elements, keeping in mind people watch YouTube on the phone. A lot of people watch it on the phone. So it's got to be clear right away from a small screen. So only having 2 to 3 elements max, having it not jumbled with art. It all depends. It could work. Some art better than others, but just having clear, contrasted elements that is simple to understand on a phone at the very least, because I think it's maybe 50-50 people watch on the phone. People watching YouTube on the TV is actually going up. I usually have an idea. Pretty much I'm just going to trim around Galta, reuse the art and layer it underneath, and then layer the cutout version of Galta so that I can kind of put text behind her, where the text, if it was just the art, of course it would only be in front, unfortunately. So I'm just using this to make it more visually appealing, I guess you could say. But usually it's kind of a free flow idea. I don't have a transparent cutout of Galta yet. I've been meaning to do it at some point, so I can always reuse this again, but it's mostly a free flow idea. I've kind of got my standard design down, so it doesn't take too long after I've done this cutting in. After I've finished cutting in, I should say. It doesn't tell how many people are on the TV or the phone. That's just a generalization of the data they've read that TV viewership has actually been increasing, which is quite interesting. Everybody has a phone, but I guess with people being at home, TV viewership on YouTube has increased. So you also, I guess, want to be considering that as well, having thumbnails that also look good on a big screen. But I think in general, if they look good on a phone, they'll probably look pretty good on a TV as well. You wouldn't really want to design for a TV, I guess, and then they might not look good on a phone. Hard to say, but right here we can see this is actually a feather. I was actually thinking it was part of her leg, but if we zoom out, sometimes I'm so zoomed in it's hard to tell if something's a rock or her claw down here. That's going to get pretty interesting. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do that just yet, but yeah, that's part of a feather, so I want to cut around that. It's not a rock for sure. Probably have to go back down to 3. We'll leave it at 2. Oh, nope, too much. Yeah, I think that's pretty, around the back of the leg. Left a little bit. Oh, that's too big. 1, 7, I gotta type it in. 4, a happy medium. That'll do. And sometimes I leave these little bits, if I have to trim around a feather, I'll just leave them till the end. Then I'll go in kind of in detail with a finer size, a 2 or a 3 pixel. Then I don't have to keep switching back and forth, so I'll probably just leave that spot for now. Hopefully I don't forget it, because it is so tiny. Oh, hey, nope. Don't do that. I won't do a morning stream. Well, I'm not planning to do a morning stream, but why is it not erasing? Interesting. Huh. Kind of glitchy, I guess. Try and reset it. Sometimes it can get a little bit glitchy. Okay, there we go. Back in business. But hopefully someday soon I will do another morning stream. I'm excited about the future. I'll still stick with the 9:30 my time. Yeah, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. pretty much that's the earliest that I can get on to stream. It usually takes about that long to get my daughter to sleep. All depends if she's had a nap, but usually it's 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hey, no, that's all good. It's hard to know how many A's and D's and N's for sure. It can catch people up. Yeah, I think I'll probably just follow the line down around her claw there. I might leave this little bit of dust right around her foot. Probably doesn't make sense to cut it out. It would look kind of weird if I sort of trimmed where her claw would be, because I don't know exactly where the edge is. So I'll probably just maybe go around the bottom here. Something like that. But definitely along the top. Yes, hopefully. Hey, no, that's all right. You know, if you miss it, it's all good. You can always watch it later, and yeah, have a good one. I might not go too long with the stream, just because I kind of wanted to showcase at least a little bit for you guys, sort of what it looks like when I do this. You get the basic idea of zooming in, kind of going pixel perfect, and getting the job done, what it takes to go around the feathers for sure. Yeah, that's already looking pretty good. Maybe I'll cut in what I've done so far at least. How's it going? Happy to have you here. It is a surprising showcase. Just how I do my cutting around images. Sometimes I don't always do this every night, but if I have a new image I want to use, Galta, the queen, the best dinosaur there is, I'm going to use this to make a nice thumbnail. Oh, okay. Hopefully it was good weather. Definitely was probably pretty hot some days, I would imagine, in Puerto Rico. Hopefully you had some good food. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. I like the heat, I like the cold. I guess pretty much any temperature. Love the snow. You have to love the snow if you want to live where I am. Winters get pretty bad sometimes. And the snow stays around a long time. Months longer than just, a couple hours south of where I am. Okay, yeah, no, definitely. Please give a lesson on her, and for anybody else watching, that would be good. Yeah. I do imagine some liberties were taken when they did the art, but yeah. Hey, no, that's all good. That's all good. It'll be here for myself and anybody else watching right now or later on. I think that would be pretty neat. That's looking pretty good. I'll turn off the background just so you can kind of get the idea. You see there's a couple spots I missed here that I'm going to cut in a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, that's going to be nice, transparent right around the bottom. I could put in... actually, where did the layers go? There it is. I'll add a layer just to kind of show you what it looks like. Dermotaxi. That's a fun one. Put that underneath, and there we go. Whew. Galta. Dermotaxi. Taxidermy. That's a pretty cool card. I love that. I wish that was released on Arena. But yeah, it's already looking pretty decent. You can see her kind of almost fighting that crocodile. Yeah, definitely got a little bit of work on the underside of the leg there. Helps if I'm on the right layer. I guess this method also works pretty good as well. There's always multiple ways to do anything like this. Okay, yeah. So something like charging Monstrosaur. Where is that? Go to uploads here. Yeah, so something like this guy. So you're thinking maybe even a little bit more feathers. This is quite a bit of feathers, I think, for a dinosaur. Pretty decent, but yeah, probably charging Monstrosaur could probably use more along the back. I love the feathers, and the feathers specifically are pretty fantastic in foil. If you get foil versions of this card in paper, oh boy. Oh, usually it's good. Excellent. Specifically, they did the foiling pretty darn nice. That's for sure. Yes, yeah, definitely. Definitely. They took some liberties with that for sure. Some pretty wacky designs. Yeah. Yeah, definitely I can see it without those horns and stuff that it wouldn't look as menacing. And perhaps Galta being kind of regal, sort of a queen-like, maybe the horns and spikes kind of signify a crown, perhaps. I could see that being part of the reason, but they definitely look cool. But certainly, yeah, I think that's a good design liberty, something like that. And it's a make-believe game, so that's how it is. It's not like Jurassic Park where something like that you'd maybe want them to be more accurate, for sure. Did it quit? I thought it quit for a second. Yes, absolutely. So going to the color palette of things, Galta, we know Galta is a herd just from the lore, so you can imagine the females oftentimes in birds were a duller color, so Galta, chances are, would be maybe just one solid color. She probably wouldn't have these bright stripes, I would think. If Galta was a male, it'd probably be an easier pass that there are all these colors. Yeah. But perhaps, you know, some dinos, male or female, do have bright coloration. We'll probably never know. 99% chance probably that we'll never know, but never safely know. Let's not pull a Jurassic Park in real life. I hope we've learned our lesson. I think I'll just probably keep the brush size big, cut in a decent amount, and then go pretty close around these feathers here with maybe 7 pixel, something like 7 pixels. Ah, okay. Yeah, I imagine this foot, it does look like it's rotating a little bit there. Facing more off on an angle, kind of on the right side. And definitely compressed, like that's not compressed, and then you see that. Certainly it's much more compressed, so it does, it makes sense somewhat anatomy-wise. It's nice seeing it be accurate that way. Eight out of 10. Okay, good stuff. That's pretty good, yeah. That's pretty awesome. 8 out of 10. That's decent for a dino. I think the artist probably did quite a bit of research just to get it as accurate as possible. Doesn't have a whole lot of feathers for sure, but yeah, the spikes, yeah. Yeah, I think I would give it about an 8 out of 10 as well. They definitely took their time for sure. Oh, that was a little bit too much. Okay, yeah, definitely these kind of golden feathers, which is pretty cool to have. But yeah, more feathers along the back would be pretty sweet. Maybe kind of around the top of the leg here. That'd be nice as well. Maybe a little bit on the face, top of the head. Kind of the horns mixed with feathers. I think that might add a pretty cool effect. Maybe one day we get a third Galta art. I think there's a pretty good chance. She's pretty popular, even not just in dinos. Mono Green sometimes uses her. No tongue, huh? I got to imagine the tongue is along inside the bottom here. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. The tongue probably would be sticking out a little bit, at least above the mouth, maybe right here, but yeah, that is interesting. I've never thought about that. I'll just pretend, you know, the tongue is laying along the bottom. Yeah. Huh. Oh, that was the wrong button. Yeah, that's true. Because the jaw probably, I mean, it goes to here, so you would at least see a little bit of tongue, at least through the teeth, you would imagine. Just the top of it. Something. Seven out of 10. Okay, that's settled. I don't think I'd go 6 out of 10, because I don't think most people realize about the tongue. I certainly just realized it right now. But perhaps because she's kind of facing on an angle, maybe it's not exactly truly a side profile. Her head is kind of facing away a little bit. If it was certainly right on a profile, I could see that being a thing, because I don't think we see her the left side of her teeth on the bottom jaw there. Maybe just a couple are poking up right here, but yeah, probably because she's facing away a little bit. Yeah, side profile, I would say probably should see a tongue. Maybe I should message the artist and just ask why no tongue. Just the perspective, I think, is what you're looking for. Yeah. I guess I could see that. Let's look up Scryfall. Yeah, I think for the most part, a tally, kind of similar. They are all done by different artists. Maybe that's kind of just the look they were going for. And as a whole, definitely has got kind of that. Well, that's kind of weird just because of the type of dinosaur it is. It's kind of snaking around. Tetsamok, I think if there was something designed, well, Zakam having 3 heads, but Tetsamok was definitely some design liberties taken with that. It looks cool. Very cool indeed, but maybe there was a dino that looked like that. Who knows? That'd probably be about the scariest thing. Velociraptor, T-Rex, they ain't got nothing on the menacing look of whatever that is. Hedgehog dino. Porcupine. Porcupine, yeah. Gotta make it a little bit smaller, I think. Yeah, something, a bunch combined with a hedgehog for sure. Pretty freaky. Pretty potentially powerful ability, definitely. Certainly a good mixture. All right, I think I'll leave it for there. That was a pretty decent showcase, at least. I did appreciate that, Ben. Absolutely. Just discussing the overall look, anatomy of Galta. I think that was pretty neat, for sure. I'm going to focus on cutting in. Gave you guys an idea of the process and kind of what it takes. This nice surprise little behind the scenes. I do like making more behind the scenes stuff, so it's nice seeing that you guys appreciate it. And yeah, Pterosaurus, Heaven. Oh yes. Yeah, I've done Rainbow Dino, so all 5 colors, 4 colors. I'd definitely be up for that if you have a list. Certainly. Leave a comment, whatever. Put it here in the chat, and I might be able to whip something up. Yeah. Thanks again for watching. Pterosaurus, Ben, Heaven, anybody else right now or later on. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Peace.